So today, here's what we're after. That you can listen to a podcast and develop a perspective of the Angel Island immigration experience or immigrant experience, in that you can identify what the Chinese Exclusion Act was and its short and longer term impact, that you can begin to draft your Shark Tank pitch script. Say Shark Tank pitch script 10 times fast. I dare you. And I can convince Gilded Age entrepreneurs to invest in your invention. That whole sentence is really difficult. Anyway, the vocabulary you'll hear in today's lesson includes Angel Island and something called the Chinese Exclusion Act. All right, so yesterday we took a look at immigration during the Gilded Age, and I introduced you to another immigration station on the West Coast that you may or may not have heard of called Angel Island. I think most of us have heard of Ellis Island, our East Coast immigration station, in which processing immigrants from Europe was relatively quick and easy. Only about 2% of those immigrants were returned to their native countries. However, on the West Coast of the United States, we had another immigration station, which lots of people refer to as the Ellis Island of the West. After listening to this brief podcast, I'm going to ask you, based on what you know about Ellis Island, and then what you'll learn about Angel Island, are those names? Is that name appropriate? Right? I'll repeat the question too. Was Angel Island the Ellis Island of the West? So let's just have a listen here today.
On a clear day, the ferry ride to Angel Island is a soothing experience, with majestic views of the Golden Gate Bridge, the island's lush greenery, and the sun's rays glistening off the bay waters. Alex Weiss was a ranger here at Angel Island State Park in 1970. One day, he wandered into one of the old buildings on the island that was scheduled for demolition that year. It used to be an army barracks, as far as he knew. The guardian of the western gates, they called it. He was walking through the run-down barracks with his flashlight when he noticed something on the walls.
And I came through and I saw these calligraphy, Chinese carvings on the wall. And I said, wow, that's pretty impressive. And then I kept going into this main room, which was a dormitory for Chinese detainees, and noticed that the entire walls were covered with calligraphy.
It turned out Weiss had stumbled upon a secret hidden for decades. It wasn't just calligraphy. It was poetry.
My
freedom withheld. How can I bear to talk about it? I look to see who is happy, but they only sit quietly. I am anxious and depressed and cannot fall asleep. The days are long and the bottle constantly empty.
140 Chinese poems were carved into the barracks' wooden walls, and they shared a common theme: sadness, misery, and humiliation. They revealed a forgotten past on the island. Before it was an army barracks, the building was a detention center for the island's immigration station in 1910, called the Ellis Island of the West. This bell sounded whenever a new ship of Chinese immigrants was approaching Angel Island in the early 1900s. They were met with officials who herded them into overcrowded detention barracks for interrogation. Immigrants lived in the barracks between 1 week to 2 years. Robert Fung is an Asian history professor at San Francisco State University. He says it was the first time a group was named by race to be excluded from coming into the country.
The Chinese Exclusion Act, written in 1882, said that if you're a Chinese laborer, you cannot come to America. The law was made specifically to target the Chinese. It was later amended to make it even more restrictive, because the mythology of the Chinese was that they were here to take our jobs away, cheap labor competition.
It felt like a jail.
Lai Kang Wong arrived at Angel Island when she was just 7 years old. Her father was living in Oakland and sent for her and her sisters to come to America to receive an education, something that wasn't available to them in China.
I was traumatized because I told you about the locked doors, the bar windows, and the way the guards treated us. Whenever we wanted to talk, they would try to look at us. We were told what time to get up. We were told what time to eat. We were told what time to go to the bathroom. There was no such thing as a book available for us to read. There was no such thing as anything like even little toys for kids to play with.
Conditions at the station were fit for unwelcome guests. Detainees like King slept in thin metal triple bunk beds. They had to disrobe in groups of 30 for intimate medical exams. The doors were locked and guarded. The poems on the walls told countless stories.
Chào khoanh một ốc thiên phục thiên, chiều chúc bóng pay hấp.
That was a rather abrupt stop. Sorry about that. But that's as much of that podcast as I'd like you to listen to. So you heard, you've got a number of primary sources here. You've got visuals, you have an actual excerpt of the law, and you have heard the voices of people who actually passed through Ellis Island, and you heard their poems, which are also primary sources. So I wanted to give you a sense of the Angel Island experience, which some would say is very different than the Ellis Island experience. So, moving forward, now what? Okay, so you reviewed Angel Island, a little more information about that experience. Well, now you're going to shift your Shark Tank pitch. The Flipgrid is open, and I opened it up for 10 minutes. That doesn't mean you have to present for 10 minutes. I just wanted to make sure there's room for folks who have a lot to say. That's the longest Flipgrid they will allow you to record. And your pitch will be due by Monday at 10 a.m. There'll be a little tiny mini lesson tomorrow, and that will be it for you to work on until Monday at 10 a.m. And if you're a visual person, I want to remind you that you're welcome to complete a visual pitch. Some of you prefer to draw or to use a tablet for visual imagery. That is totally up to you. And if you are doing that, just reach out to me and let me know how you'll share that information with me. And I really encourage you to be creative. Maybe use some props or whatnot. That's up to you. And I will add a link tomorrow so you can add your works excited. Again, that's not due till Monday by 10, but I will post that for tomorrow. And so that, my friends, is today's lesson. I hope your day is fantastic. And I miss you all and enjoyed really kind of air quotes seeing many of you yesterday. And I'll see some more of you folks today. All right. Have a great day.